Good morning, boys and girls. My name is Mrs. Lewandowski, and I am a fifth grade teacher at Park Avenue Elementary School in Freehold Borough, New Jersey, where we are known as the Eagles. Today, you're all going to join me and be honorary Eagles for the day. First of all, I wanted to take this opportunity to thank you and tell you how proud I am of each and every one of you for being home during this time and doing as much schoolwork as you can and staying on top of your education. It's so important that you're doing that, and we are all just so super proud of you. To start off our day at Park Avenue every day, we say a pledge, and I would like you to repeat after me, and then we could all be honorary Eagles for the next hour. So we start off our morning, we say the PAE way. We never give less than our best. Be kind. Work hard. Have fun. All right, now that we've said that, we are all honorary Eagles for the day. Today for science, we're going to focus on what is energy, why do we need it, and how it's transferred between living things. So first of all, let's talk about energy. Energy is what exactly? We know that we need it, but what is it? Energy is the ability to do work. What does that even mean? Well, let's start off with how we get energy. Now, we get energy from doing what? Eating. Now, how do we get that energy? Well, it all starts off actually with the sun. Let's take a look at something I have here. So, I have this plant here. This was given to me by a friend of mine. This plant has been sitting on my windowsill. Now, it was a very small plant when I first got it, but it's grown into this big plant with all of these leaves on it. Now, what does this plant need to survive? I'm going to give you a second just to think about that. Now, if you said that this plant needs air, you're right. Water, absolutely. Sunlight, absolutely. It needs these things to survive. Now, with this sunlight, these plants start to grow with the right amount of water. Now, since this plant was on my windowsill, I want to show you what happened, and I want to see if you can draw a conclusion as to why this started happening to my plant. So I'm going to turn it around. Now, this side of my plant was facing the sun. You can tell it's nice and green. It has beautiful color. The leaves are really high on it. Let's turn this plant around and look at the other side. What do you notice right here? You should have noticed it right away. What do you see? Right, this part of the plant is starting to actually discolor a little bit. Why do you think that is? This part of the plant was facing away from the sun. Now, if I didn't rotate my plant enough, this particular stalk most likely did not get enough of what? Sunlight. Maybe not enough water since it was on the other side. Maybe I wasn't watering that side enough, okay? So it looks like this part of the plant actually needs a lot more sunlight and it might need some more water. Let's take a closer look at what this plant does with the energy that it gets from the sun, okay? So what I'm going to do is, I'm gonna spin you around a little bit and we're gonna take a look over here. Now, what a plant does with this energy, it takes that sunlight and it turns it into food for itself. That whole process is called photosynthesis. It's a really big word. Say that with me. Photosynthesis. One more time. Photosynthesis. Excellent. You're going to notice a lot of different things on this plant. So let's go over a few things really quickly. First of all, I drew a very simple plant. My students in my class would tell you I am not the best artist, so I did my best with all my artwork here for you today. So we have our sun up in the corner and we have our plant, okay? First, let's start with the first step of photosynthesis. This is the first thing that happens. What do you think the very first thing that happens is? Great, this sun actually gives energy to this plant. So the energy is absorbed by the chloroplast in our leaves. So that energy gets absorbed into the leaves and gives it to the plants. Chloroplasts are tiny, tiny little structures on the leaves that help the plant go through the process of photosynthesis. Now, from here, so the sunlight comes into the plant. So we'll draw some arrows for that sunlight. Great. The next thing we have here is carbon dioxide. Say that with me. Carbon dioxide. One more time. Carbon dioxide. Excellent. Carbon dioxide is present in the atmosphere. What do you think the carbon dioxide does in this process of photosynthesis? Okay, so carbon dioxide actually enters from the atmosphere through the pores in the leaves. So carbon dioxide is going to go into the plant. It's going to come into that plant. Okay, so we have it absorbing the sunlight. The carbon dioxide comes into the plant. Okay, now what do they do with all this carbon dioxide and sunlight? What does the plant make? Do you know? Well, we know it has to make energy, but how does it make that energy? Okay, we're actually going to move over to this side of the poster now. Sugar. It's also known as glucose in plants. So the carbon dioxide comes in from the atmosphere into those pores. The plant starts going through the process of photosynthesis and it makes sugar. Okay, it feeds the plant when that sunlight gets to those chloroplasts. So the plant starts making sugar. That's how it starts getting that energy. So it starts making that sugar or glucose. Now, what do we do with that sugar? What does the plant do with it? Great. We have one step left. If you looked up here, you would have seen oxygen. Now the oxygen is actually released back into the atmosphere. Okay? So the oxygen comes out of the plant. So the carbon dioxide comes into the plant. The oxygen comes out of the plant. Okay? Why do we need oxygen? Excellent. We breathe it from the air. We breathe that oxygen from the air. So we need plants. The plants help to create more oxygen in the air, and this whole process goes over it. Let's go over the process one more time very quickly to make sure you understand it. Okay? So this is photosynthesis. The plant is going to absorb that sunlight. That energy is absorbed. It traps it inside. That carbon dioxide comes in through the pores on the leaves. Sugar is started to be made inside the plant. It starts to make that sugar, and then the plant releases the oxygen into the air. As it's doing this, the plant is starting to grow and develop, and that's how we get different things that we need. First of all, we get the oxygen that we need into the air, and if you eat plants, which I'm sure that you do, you get energy you need from those plants. What are different types of plants that we eat? I'll give you a minute. See if you can think of 3. So if you said anything that kind of grows, if you have a garden at home and you grow different kinds of vegetables, you might have a garden. You might get your vegetables from your local store or supermarket or farmer's market. You might grow apples, tomatoes, cucumbers, lettuce, eggplant. All of these different things are actually produced from plants. And the whole thing is going to start with the sun. We need the sun to start this process so that it can begin for us. Now, the next thing we're going to take a look at is why these animals need energy and how they get it.